Unity, I hate it when you do this. Let me into the fucking editor. Right. Mouse down index. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is check to see whether the starting node is actually a valid node. Now, because we're calling start path if mouse down index becomes greater than -1, we will be calling this function on every frame unless we reset this condition here. Now we need to know what the starting node was. So what we need to do is we need to change mouse down index back to -1 so that we don't trigger this condition every single frame. And then we need to store the index. Well, let's see the way around. We need to do this first. We need to send this value to a new value, which we'll do int start node. So whenever we refer to the start node, from now on we must use int start node. I'm just trying to think. What I might do is use int start node in a similar way rather than make another variable. So we also need to know whether a path is currently active or not, right? So the way we'll make this work is we'll say if okay, we'll do a bool is valid equals false, and we'll say if start node is start path. Does this include setup nodes? Yeah, it does. As painful as this is, I think this is the only real way to do it. I am starting to wish I'd put this. Hello, Cappy. It's been a while. Happy Thanksgiving. Hello, Coffin Sparkle. Yeah, I know it was. I think it was Thanksgiving, wasn't it? Recently, in the US, it's not something we really know much about in the UK. We obviously see it on like TV and stuff, but yeah, I don't really know that much about it. I also didn't realize it was like so early as it was. I thought it was like right before Christmas, but it's a good. It's over a month, isn't it? I think. Or maybe just under a month before Christmas. In start node equals node one start. See, the thing is, if we put them in a list, we can iterate through the list. And then we don't have to hard code every single check then. I mean, I kind of did it like this for readability just so that I can get my brain around the thing, but like also this like right, if we take an integer and a Boolean function like this of start node, so we'll send int start node to this Boolean function, and we'll do int node. Then what we can do is we can use this function at least for both the start node and the end node, rather than do it all like twice, because this is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. Okay, so we can set up a bool of is valid, which we'll assume is false by default, and we need to return a type, so we'll return is valid. Makes that error go away. So yeah, it is a bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, we could have also used int start node, but we'll use node because, like I say, we'll want to use this function to. So we're receiving an integer here. We want to use this function to also check as we're finishing the puzzle if it's a valid node to end on or not. Okay, so it's node 1 start, node 1 end, node 2 start, node 2 end, node 3 start, node 3 end. It's not too bad, I guess. It's going to get a little bit tedious. Okay, so we now have a function which tells us whether the node index that we pass to it, if it's actually an actual node, if there's actually a node there or not. So here now we say, or we were saying, bool is valid equals is node, and then we can pass int start node to that. So then we can say if is valid, I'm going to do it the opposite way around. What I'm basically going to do is I'm going to say right, so for both this integer, and this integer, I'm going to use -1 to basically indicate that they're switched off. Anything above -1 is an index of a node. So what I'm basically doing here, when we try to start a path, is I'm saying, okay, if the path is valid, then we will have int start node as an index of a node that is the starting node for the path. If it's not valid, then we just set that int start node to -1. Right. So as a node is entered, we get a condition here where we say player just entered a node plus node entered. If node entered is different from previous node entered, then at the moment we just say debug player just entered a node. Here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a node above, a node right, a node down or below, and a node left. And for each one of these fuse tiles, I'm going to enter -1 if there is no neighboring node. Otherwise, I'm going to put the node's index. So we're going to keep using this system where -1 means invalid and anything above 0 is an index. So if we look at our class now, and this is on our node tiles, we can see that node 0 has a node above, wants to be -1, a node to the right wants to be 1, a node down wants to be 5, and a node left wants to be -1. Now, could we do this dynamically? Probably. But for my own sanity, I'm just going to do it this way. So node right is 2, node down is 6, Node left is 0. Node above is -1. Node right is 3. Node down is 7. Node left is 1. 3 above is -1. 4 is to the right. 8 is below. 2 is to the left. This one is -1 on the above, -1 to the right, 9 down, and 3 is left. You can probably see where we're going with this. This is going to allow me to just check to see which direction the player came from, because we can query, we can check and say which was the neighboring node that the player entered from. That actually should be 6 on the right. So 0 is above, 6 is on the right, 10 is down, and -1 is on the left. It's going to take a little while, but I think this will be worth it. So 6, 1 is above, 7 to the right, 11 down, 5 to the left, 2 is above, 12 is down. Don't know why I'm doing it in a different order now. I just 8 and 6 to the left. 3 is above, 9 is to the right, 7 is 13 is down, and 7 is to the left. Okay, to be fair, this is a bit silly, because it's really not that complicated. The maths really isn't that complicated. If we think about it, it's left is going to be, so we've got a function. We should do a function here where we say, rather than do the string get index like 16 times like we do, we should make this a function. So if we do a function of like, we want to get an integer back, right? So, so that is the function to get the index of this object. So then we can just return int index. And instead of saying all this every single time, we can just say yeah, I don't even know why we do it here, because we could, yeah, we can't send the index back on this one now anyway. Originally we were going to, but then we realized we couldn't actually do it. So for these two now, we can actually just say int index equals get index. That needs to be declared as an int, and we can do that there as well, because we need to use it again. So rather than do like that function 6 billion times, we'll just write it once and we'll give it a function. So we're going to start on enable by saying int get index, int index equals get index. We could have even stored it locally, to be honest, but whatever, we've got a function for it now. It doesn't really make any difference. Right, so we can figure out what our index is. So then we should be able to say that node above equals whatever our index is. Let's imagine it was 10, and it's going to be whatever our index is minus 5, isn't it? So it's going to be int index minus 5, and then we can say, well, we'll just say greater than 0. This way, then, if it's anything in the negative, we know that it's an invalid index. I won't change it to -1. right? So then we can do int, god damn it, node down is basically that plus 5, right? What am I doing? Node left is -1. And node right is +1. There we go. And basically, if we know that the correct range of numbers is 0 to 24. So what we do need to do is we need to say if node above, it's probably not even possible, right? Yeah, it's not possible for a node above to go out of bounds, right? The only out of bounds that can occur here mathematically in the plus range is node down and node right, because they're the only ones that are doing additions. So we need to check node down. If node down is greater than 24, then we'll set it to -1, saying it's invalid. Similarly, if node right is greater than 24, then node right equals -1. So now we can rest assured that all our indexes should be correct on every single node. In fact, I think I'm going to hide those from the inspector. Well, not yet, I won't, but I will. And we'll just sanity check it real quick. Right, so node 24 says the node above me is 19, that's correct. The node to my right is -1, which is correct because it's invalid. The node beneath me is -1, which is also correct because it's invalid. And the node to my left is 23. Fantastic. I think it's physically impossible to move diagonally. Like, I don't know if it's physically impossible, but if it ever happens, then we'll just ignore that input, basically, which is correct because the way this mechanic works is you can only go up, down, left, or right, so this is perfect. Let's just pick another random one, 13. So I am index 13, I assume. Beneath me is 18. Above me is 8. To the left of me is 12, and to the right of me is 14. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so now we can get a neighboring index, and we know which direction the neighboring index came from. That's going to be very helpful. Right. I'm going to declare an integer called wire length, which is going to count how long the wire is in terms of nodes. The only real reason I need this is so that I can treat the first node differently to the other nodes. So, when we enter a node, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we are currently on a valid path, right? So, the conditional check for that is if integer start node is greater than -1, in other words, we have a valid index, then we're on a we started from a valid start node, and we know that this is the index of the valid start node. So the node we entered is node entered. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out what direction this node was entered from. And we can do that by looking to find the index of the node, the start node, inside of node entered. So here's how it's going to work. We'll probably do a function for this. Yeah, we'll do a function called getDirection. So let's make a function called getDirection, and it's going to return an integer direction. You know what? Just for sanity reasons, let's make it string. It's going to return a string. It's going to be called getDirection. It's going to take a node index and this needs to look okay. We're looking for, let's call this find node. So we're going to take an integer of find node, and we're going to take a, what did I call that script? Fuse node. We're going to take a fuse node type of node. So here's how it's going to work. It's as simple as this. We simply say if node dot node above is the find node index, then direction equals north, right? Because it came from above. And then we just need to do that 4 more times. So we can say if node down, I should have called that below really, whatever, then that node is south of that node. If node left, that node is west of that node. If node right, then that node is east of that node. There we go. That easy. So now what we can do is here we can say we need to get the component of the node that we entered. So the node that we entered exists on the node tiles themselves. So we can simply say get direction of node tiles image node tiles at position node entered get component, what did I call it? Fuse node. And the node index we are looking for is the start index in start node. I just realized this only works on the first move. We need to know what the previous node was. Okay, it's fine. Okay, here's how we do it then. What we do is we say if path length, wire length, is 0, then we must have gone, like, what wire length, well, we could say 1. No matter what we do, right, we want to increase the wire length by 1. I've got to be careful here, though, as we enter a node. Yeah, if it's a valid, if we're on a valid path, We can increase the wire length by 1. Maybe we don't do wire length. Maybe we just do previous node. That might make more sense. We don't really need to know the wire length. We do have a previous node entered there though. But by the time we get into this function, we would have lost access to that. Okay, I'm going to use the same system. -1 means invalid, int previous node, above 0. Above -1 means it's an index. Right, so instead of that, what we'll do is we'll say if int previous node is -1, meaning there are no previous nodes, then we want to do that. Because the node that we're checking must be the start node, because we haven't like accumulated a path yet, basically. I mean, we should say less than 0. How's your project going so far, and do you plan on creating more Woo idea project puzzles? No, I didn't plan on doing this one. It's just spontaneous. It's hard. This is very, very hard. Right, so basically, if int previous node is -1, it means there was no previous node. So we need to check the start node to figure out the direction. However, if that isn't the case, then we have a previous node to get it from. So instead of using int start node, we can use int previous node here. And then we set the previous node to the current node entered. Okay, so now we have a direction, right? So what we need to do is draw the correct wire's direction at the start node. Well, we only do that here though. Otherwise, we're drawing a wire. Right, so if this is a first node, we need to grab the start nodes from the wires. So we're looking at image wires. Hang on a minute, there's a big if statement here. If direction equals north, then image wires at position int start node dot texture equals, and we need to find the north wire that connects to a node. Okay, so node north is texture 0. Okay. So we set the texture to the north wire if the direction of the start node to the next node, and it's the first node, and it's a valid node, right? At this point, we've already reached all those checks. Is 0 if it's north, then we can do east, south, west. So east, south, west. I'm guessing that's going to be 1, 2, 3, because I like to keep things in consistent order. Let's check. North, east, south, west. Correct. Okay, so we just managed to put the start wire at the node's visual tile in the correct direction for wherever the player went next. What we also need to do, if it's the first wire, is continue in said direction at the current tiles node. Now that is what we'll be doing here. So I think we need a function. So what is it that function needs to take? So we're going to do a place wire function, and what it's going to need to take is an integer of the node index and a direction of a string, or maybe a wire type actually. I just had a thought as well. This is such a bitch. The corners are going to be such a pain in the ass. I don't think we can calculate corners just based on the previous node index. We would need to know what the previous direction was as well. So we need to also remember the previous direction that the wire was laid in. Otherwise, we've got no way of knowing when to lay corners. So what we also want to do is, as we set a new direction, direction isn't globally available. So we calculate a direction at this point, then we're going to call this function to lay a wire. I don't know whether the function should calculate the direction and the wire type. That would probably be better. Or if we should be doing it in the invoker. I think we should do it in the function. Either way, that function is going to need to take a direction and a previous direction. so that it can work out which wire it's laying. But we don't have access to direction in memory here. Okay, so we're going to need to declare direction as well as a local variable. Okay. So now we can say before we calculate a new direction, we're going to pass the current direction, if there is one, to the previous direction. So now when we come down to this function here, place wire, it will have access to the previous direction, and it has access to the current direction as well. So we're going to need to give it a node index so it knows where it's laying the wire. Using its direction, a combination of direction and previous direction, we can work out what wire type we need, I think. So in both scenarios, we want to call place wire with the node entered index. Here and here. We have access to direction and previous direction anywhere from here. I need to visualize this. I'll keep the numbers on. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay. So let's say we land in tile 12. So we're asked to place a wire at tile 12. We know the current direction was calculated as north. So we know the player came from this tile here. Now, if the player came from this tile here, it has to be a straight, it has to be a vertical line. Right. I'm not thinking about this right. Let's do this the other way around. Let's repeat the scenario where we make a corner, and let's figure out what the steps are. So let's say I start here and I've got to get here, and for whatever reason I decide to zigzag around. So I go from 0 to 1, and then I take it from 1 to 6. Yeah, I suppose when I... So this is placing like a live wire. Does it even do that? I don't even know if I've got any of these puzzles incompleted or not. I don't think you can replay them either. I don't think I'm going to be able to replay this. Do we have somebody playing one on YouTube or something so I can see the gameplay? The only thing I'm not sure about, in my mind, here's what I'm not sure about. In my mind, right, if I'm wiring up from here to here, as I move my mouse to here, I'm pretty sure it draws a line beyond where my mouse is because it just assumes I'm going to go down. But then if I move my mouse over here, then it changes its mind and turns that into a right angle there. Do you see what I mean? Like I think it telegraphs, like it shows you what the wire is going to be in real time. So if I start moving my mouse around, like it will sort of telegraph to me where the wire is going to go. I think that's how it works. But I can't quite remember. The fuck is that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to help me that much anyway. But actually, I'm wrong about that, right? If I was hovering my mouse there and it drew a line there, this would be invalid because I'm actually coming from here, and you can't move diagonally. But if I moved my mouse back up there, I feel like it would draw a line there. So let me let me figure this out. I feel like at this stage it can't draw corners. I feel like it can only draw a corner when you change direction, but you can't change direction until you... Let's start from here. I can move here, 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 or here. Either way, we can only draw straight lines. from this point. We still don't have a need for a corner yet. But let's say I pick this one down here and then I plot this one here. My valid options now are, can I change the color of this? Here. Here, if I want to erase that line. Here. Or here. And if I took it here or here, that's when we would draw a corner. So in this script here, we would be saying, okay, the direction the player came from was the west. Yes, and the previous direction was north. Yes, I'm right about that. Yeah, so basically, if the two previous directions, in order to keep it a straight line, the direction needs to either be null or matching the current direction. If the previous direction and the now direction do not match, then we need to draw a corner. So I think the first conditional check should be if previous direction is not null. Well, it wouldn't be null, it would be that. Then we have two directions to check. So what we'll do is, so the node index, from node to index, we need to figure out direction. Now we're already using direction, so we'll put wire direction. And at the moment, we want to set that to current direction. The current direction the player came from is what we'll put in wire direction. However, if previous direction is not nothing, then we need to check whether the previous direction. So I guess I would put and previous direction is not direction. Then wire direction might need a corner. In fact, I think it will need a corner. Now this is where things get a little bit ropey. Because this corner I called northeast. But we don't know whether we're going this way or this way. Because east, north and northeast make the same corner, but they have to be referred to in the correct way. Like, in other words, my icon directions are named northeast, southeast, southwest, south, northwest. So we need to make sure we include the direction God damn it, this is tricky. Because we don't know which one is the north and which one is the east. We don't know what direction the player's coming from. I might need to ask Jibbity how I can solve this. If I give it a little task like this, it might be able to give me a suggestion. Okay. I need to identify the following corner wires. Northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. However, by identifying the north, west, etc. direction and previous direction, I cannot know which direction the player is heading in. In other words, I need to convert east-north into northeast and west-south into southwest. Because of the way I named my textures. How can I combine direction and previous directions of north, east, south, west to make a new northeast, southeast, etc. Since I can't be sure the order will be correct. Let's see what it says. To resolve the ambiguity of corner directions and correctly identifying the wire's direction, you can create a mapping between the pairs of previous direction and direction to the desired corner names, like northeast, southeast, southwest, etc. The key is to ensure the order of directions, north before east for northeast, is consistent regardless of the order in which they are passed. Okay. Stop changing the way I'm doing things. String wire direction equals direction, like I originally said in my original code, you fucker. We only overwrite it in these if conditions, you little bitch. wire direction will never be null. It's impossible to get this far into the code without having a direction that you came from. It's impossible. So stop making assumptions about the way my thing works. Right. Okay, so east-north becomes northeast, east-south becomes southeast, southwest becomes southwest. It did that wrong, didn't it? That should be west-south. West-south becomes southwest. West-north becomes northwest. Okay, so this is where we would draw a corner. So now we can say texture 2D, wire texture equals null. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. If y direction equals north, or y direction equals south, then wire texture equals vertical. Image wire tiles at position 5. No, it should be texture wire tiles, texture, whatever it's called. Texture wires, position 5. Okay. If wire direction is east or wire direction is west, then texture wires should be position 6, which should be the horizontal wire. Wrong. 4 is the horizontal wire. Okay, so 4 is the horizontal wire. Kind of wish I'd done that the other way around, but it doesn't really matter. Now we can get into these motherfuckers. If wire direction is northeast, then wire texture is texture wires at position 6. Seven, 8, 9. And then the order is northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. 6, 7, 8, and 9 respectively. Okay. Now we know which wire to lay. Isn't that exciting? So now we just need to say image wire tiles at position node index dot texture equals wire texture. It hates that. It thinks it's an unassigned variable, the motherfucker. There we go. Okay. That is pretty nuts, but I think that will work. That is actually pretty nuts, but I think that will work. We also need to layer the color of the wire. So when we activate a node, we need to figure out what color we're using as well. So we'll do node color equals -1 until we activate a node. Start path int start node equals mouse down index. Mouse down index equals -1. So now what we have to do is we have to find out which node that belongs to. Well, actually, here it is, right? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, okay. This checks to see whether the node is any of the node 1, 2, and 3 starts and ends, and returns an invalid of true. This would have been the perfect place to sneak in the color. But you can only return one thing. I suppose when we query this function, to be fair, we would also want to know what color the wire wants to be. I think we'll get away with it. I think if we set the color here, yeah, I think if we set the color here, we should be fine. Because we only check to see if it's a valid node as we start a new path anywhere. And we're also going to be checking it. I haven't got that far yet, but we will be checking it at the end node as well. So like setting the color in those two places shouldn't be an issue. It's not like we need to change the colors anywhere else for this particular puzzle. So I think we'll be okay. Alright, so when we lay the wire, we can now set the color as well. So we can say color 32 wire color equals null if node color is 0, then wire color equals color node 1. It doesn't like that null color, does that? Cannot convert color 32 because it is a non-nullable value type. Okay, we can just do it like that then. And then we want to say image wire tiles, set the color to wire color, unassigned use of a local variable. Fuck you. It's not unassigned, you bitch. Oh, for fuck's sake. Jibbity, how do we do this? Cannot null a color. How can I satisfy the stupid thing? The error occurs because C# compiler doesn't guarantee. I didn't ask for your life story. Just fucking show me the solution. What's the way around it? If, else if, else if. Color.black. Just give it a default color as you bullshit fucking... I suppose... Whatever. It's never going to be that. So, like, fuck off. Right, it's always going to be one of those three. Unless I made a mistake, and if I made a mistake, then it's... It's something I'm going to need to fix anyway, isn't it? Right. You fucking twat. Oh, I know why. My debugs are blocking it. That's why. Okay, it's... Hey, it's doing more than Jippities. Look, it's doing more than Jippities did, okay? Let me just point that out. It's doing more than Jippities did. It's not working, though. Okay, my direction, it tried... This part is almost correct. It's just that I got my directions the wrong way around on the node. So it detected north, because I wasn't sure whether that was the way we should be doing it. Because it detected north, I think it's because we went from current node, and the node is north of the current node. So I thought, oh, I want to put a wire north. No, I want to invert that. I want to put the wire south when the node came from the... You see what I mean? I need to invert it. That's the only reason that fucked up. So we can invert that. It lets me go down. This is where it fucks up. Okay, it's starting. Look, it's starting to work, alright? It's starting to work. It's starting to work. So let's go invert that. So where we place the node, wire. Yeah, so I did 0, 1, 2, 3 for north, east, south, and west. So north and south need to be inverted. As does... So south becomes north. North becomes south. East becomes west. West becomes east. That should fix that bug. We know this part is working, so we don't really need to debug it. We don't really need that debug message. So it's actually, I bet it works now. If you're going in a straight line, it works. Yay! Which is, hey, again, that's more than Jippities did on its first attempt, and its second attempt, and its third attempt. Right? I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little bit smug. I am. I'm feeling because I'm definitely getting better at this. I'm definitely getting better at this. Okay, for someone that... Oh no, it's this again. This is active. I keep forgetting to switch this off. There you go, dude! Okay, we didn't change the colour of the wire. The wire is white. We've got to change the colour of the wire as well when we do that. But it's there in the right direction. Look at that, dude! Look at that! If we go straight down, we're fine. Also, we go straight through the red node, but... Hey, you did the corner correctly as well! But I guess it needs to go on... Oh my god, it's actually doing things... Okay, it thinks we're going there. Hey, this isn't too bad. It put the corner in as well. It just needs to go on... I guess when we do a corner, we need to correct the tile before it as well. Is probably why. Or maybe there would have been 2 corners on that one. I don't know. This is starting to work. For some reason, this like fucks up. I'm not quite sure why. We're getting there. We're getting there, man. All right, let's put the color in. Now, I don't know at this point. I think at this point our color should be set. I think we also need a function that converts that color value back into a color. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do a function which returns a color 32, get wire color, and then we can just do... Now we can just use that here as well. I'm just trying to think though when we change... Oh yeah, no, because it is a separate wire. It's a separate image. I was going to say, are we going to tint the node? But it is on a separate layer, so it'll be fine. Yeah, so changing the wire color should be fine. So we can actually just say image wire tiles at int start node dot color equals get wire color. There we go. And we could just put that up here, I think, because it doesn't matter what direction it is. The color's going to be the same. So we just need to say it once, I think. Keeps this nice and short. All right, let's just test that. Man, we're getting there. We are getting there. Let's go from the blue this time. Okay, it did the node tile instead of the wire tile. I don't know what the fuck is going on. When it turns these blue, what is it turning blue? Yeah, so first of all, that should be the wire tiles. Okay, I think when the tiles become completely blue, something's wrong with this. Maybe this was right. You know, when Jupiter had said southwest becomes southwest, that didn't make any sense though. Right, so sometimes the wire texture is coming back as null. When that happens, I need to get a debug message to find out why. I think this isn't working properly. I keep forgetting to switch these fucking debug numbers off. Right, texture null. Wire direction is empty. Well, that's weird. It should never be null. It should never, 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 never be null. Right, what is going wrong? It's always the Jeopardy code. Always the Jeopardy code. Right, texture is null. Direction was empty. That should never be empty. And the previous direction was east. How did direction become empty? Direction equals get direction, image node tiles, node entered. Okay, I think what might be happening is it's doing what I said it would never do. I think if you come at it diagonally, you can enter the cell diagonally, and because we don't have a reference to what's held diagonally, we don't have a valid direction to inherit. But that's a rare case. So I think all I need to do to fix it is we'll just default to... I don't want to do north. We'll divert to south. Oh no, I drank all my drink. Gullet feels weird, like it doesn't want to swallow anything. Okay, so that should at least fix that other bug where we're getting null textures. I always forget to switch that off. Yep, I just fixed the null texture issue. Okay, so now we've just got like, sometimes it's not quite right. Why do I always forget to switch this off? Right. So there we went down, down, right. And we didn't get a corner. I swear it's fucking Jippity's bullshit, right? Okay, let me just see what it said. So down, down, and right from the blue, and we didn't get a corner. Let's report back in the console what these directions are and what it like sorts them into. I mean, that should have been in the right order anyway, right? It should have said, oh no, it should have. Okay, direction would have been east. Although it starts with previous direction and then direction. So that should have said southeast. And then made a corner from southeast. I just want to see if it is Jippity's code first before I replace that with my own code. The one thing Jippity's wrote for me in this, and it's fucking the whole thing up. Right. I swear to God, Jippity! It's having a oh my God, it hasn't got anything right today. It's been horrible today, Jippity. Okay. I'm just going to do them as like independent if statements. I don't think it's any quicker anyway, not doing it that way. I still forgot to turn debug numbers off. Okay, so we're going to go down, down, and right. Okay, lay the wire west. The direction was west and north. Oh, because it works backwards, doesn't it? Because it's basically tracing, like, it's looking backwards, right? So that's why it's saying west, north, because it's basically trying to go back towards the node. It doesn't really matter which direction it goes in, as long as it figures out where the corner's supposed to be. So wire direction returned as west, even though the direction was west and the previous direction was north. So that should have converted into northwest. Now northwest isn't correct. It should have been northeast. It should have given me a northeast wire. So again, maybe it's inverted. Maybe it's inverted. But it shouldn't have returned west when it had west north. It should have returned northwest. Again, that would have been wrong because it would have been flipped, right? But yeah, it is inverted because It's looking. It looks from the node that I enter, and then finds its neighboring node from its previous node or the start node, depending on where we are in the path. So it is going to be inverted. But this Jibbity code, the one thing that's fucking this up now is the one little part that Jibbity wrote. So string previous direction is not null or empty, and direction is not null and empty, and previous direction is not the current direction, then let's do our own way of doing it. I'm just going to say string combined equals direction plus previous direction, so northwest, west, north, whatever, and then we can just change it to say if combined is west, north, then y direction equals northwest. Yeah, we don't even need to say combined. Just say y direction. Just use that one. Y direction equals... If y direction is west north, then y direction should be northwest. If y direction is east north, then y direction should be northeast. If y direction is west south, then y direction should be southwest. And if y direction is east south, then it should be southeast. Yeah, they might need inverting though. So we'll probably find that we have to use different textures to invert them properly because it goes backwards. But let's just make sure that that is at least fixes that part of the problem. Oh yeah, also we were gonna light the node up when we start a path. Oh, it's texture node on. And I remember to turn debug numbers off. Yay. Yeah, so this is probably still wrong because the corners are probably the wrong way around now because it looks at it backwards. So we have to invert the corner tiles to represent that correctly. It's just flipping it round, basically. Oh, that looks great. Yeah, so I thought, okay, here's the problem. So I thought we had to go and change that tile that we came from. So that corner is inverted, but also it should have been on the other tile. I just clicked right and for some reason it turned into that. What the fuck just happened? What is happening? Oh, that's so weird. When for some reason when you press the right mouse button, it starts the whole. That's weird. The right mouse button breaks this puzzle completely. I have no idea why. Yeah, this is where we should have been doing it. That's why. We should only be applying the node on texture when yeah, so the corner that we lay this is kind of awkward. The corner that we lay isn't on the tile that we entered. We basically turned the previous tile into a corner. So, and also the corner is inverted. Jesus Christ. Do we have an index reference? Previous, yeah, we've got a previous node entered, which is an integer. So the first thing we want to do is instead of saying, so we want to use the current direction. Yeah, there's actually two textures that we need to change. So basically, right, if it's north or east, it's as simple as that. However, if it's one of these corners, this works a little bit differently. Because not only do we want to change, and it's not text wires, hang on. No, so that works out what corner we want to set. Ah, this is super awkward. I wish I hadn't done it like this now. So the wire texture actually wants to go. The corner wire texture actually wants to go in the previous node entered. I really hope that is still stored in the right place. So let's test that first. But then we also still want to draw the wire in the current position like we do for a single north or a single east. So basically, oh, it'll do that anyway, but it says, okay, it says image wire textures equals wire texture. So for this, God, this is super awkward. What we can do is, since we've set that there, we can then set the wire texture based off of the current latest direction. So we want to use this logic here. So what we can, basically it's either going to be north, south, east or west, right? It's either going to be horizontal or vertical. So we can basically say if direction is north or direction is south. Then wire texture equals text wires at position 5. Like we do above. And then like we do above again, if direction is east or direction is west, then wire texture equals text wires 4. Because then when we come down to here, we set the current tile to wire texture. But because we already did a manual previous node texture here, for these northeasts and whatnot, we'll actually be setting both of them. So we need to add that logic to the other 3 bidirections. That looks terrible. Why does it look like that? Can we not make it look like this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Oh my god, why are you pasting it like that? I fucking swear to God, Visual Studio, you are fucking me right off right now. Also, where are all these errors coming from? Right, I'm just going to control and undo until we get rid of the errors. I don't know what the fuck it's complaining about. What is happening? This was correct. Oh my god, this is making me so mad. What are you fucking doing to my code? I need to be able to fucking read this, for God's sakes. Why are you reformatting it for me? This is so annoying. What the hell are you doing to me? If direction equals north, or direction equals south, wire texture equals text wires 5, that should be closed up there. If direction... fucking hell. Give me a fucking heart attack. Why does that look like shit? I had it laid out looking pretty good. That looks like shit. What are you doing to my fucking code? I don't know why Visual Studio is butchering the fuck out of my code right now. Right, that's better. Fucking hell. Right. Jesus Christ. Let's remake the Wuthering Waves minigame. Yay! I'm a fucking moron, alright? Don't be like me. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Right. I don't even know anymore. Let's just press play and see what happens. I think we just had an aneurysm. But aside from that, no wonder I've got a fucking headache. Jesus Christ. We got to add controller support as well yet. Oh, great. Right. What should have happened is when we were drawing our wire, the corner was inverted, which it probably still is because I haven't fixed that yet. But the corner was inverted, but also the corner was on the entered tile and not the tile that should have changed into a corner. Are you ready? Exactly. Perfect. Now I just need to invert that corner and we're done with there. And then do the end connection node. We're almost there. We're almost there. So I need to invert the corners. So, okay. We know that a northeast corner should be a northwest. So I'm guessing a southeast corner should be a southwest. So let's take a look at our indexes. Southeast. So 7 should be 6. So swap 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, I think. Right, there's 8 and 9. Right, so 9 is 8. 8 is 9. 7 is 6. And 6 is 7. That's what I think. Okay, I think we've got this now. Holy shit. No, it's still wrong. Right, I need to think about this. Put them back, because that didn't seem to help at all. Right, let's fix each one. There are only 4 corners. Let's fix this one first. We'll just do them one at a time. We're going to test whatever this one happens to be first. This one is a northwest, right? We want a northwest. But that's the thing, we need to know which route that's coming through in the code. Well, do we get the debug still? Yeah, we do. Right, we want a northwest. We laid a northeast. So we came through here, and we actually want a northwest. Isn't that what we just did though? No, because I think we swapped 6 and 7 and we swapped north and south, which we shouldn't have done. Yeah, okay, it's because these aren't like, it's because the first one is north, the second one is south, the third one is south, and the fourth one is north. It's kind of weird, right? It's like north, it's like, okay, these aren't even in the right order, whatever. So we came through northeast, and we got a northeast corner, but we actually want a northwest corner. So let me just study this. I was right about inverting them. I think I just inverted them. I just think I inverted the norths and the souths instead of the easts and the wests. Yeah, because I said 6 and 7, 8 and 9, but that's not right. Basically, 6 and 9 need to be inverted, need to be swapped. That's why. And 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 was correct. So 7 becomes 8 and 8 becomes 7. Let me just... so I don't get confused. On my other screen. So it's, I know why. It's because we calculate it backwards. So like when we say we want a northeast wire, what we're really saying is the player came from the northeast, like in respect to where we are now, kind of thing. So we probably want the opposite of that, right? Because like we're looking at it backwards, kind of thing. Right. So 6 and 9 need swapping. So there's 9. 9 becomes 6. And 6 becomes 9. Okay, we did that. And then 7 becomes 8, and 8 becomes 7. 7 becomes 8. 8 becomes 7. Right, I think that should be right now. It's still a bit weird though. Like, I still don't really understand why east and west is inverted, but north and south seems to be correct. That's a bit weird. You would think if one was inverted, the other one would be, but for some reason it's not. But I don't really care. I've got enough to think about. It's just strange. Like, I'll find things like that happen all the time, and I'm like, well, that's not what I would have expected, but okay. Come on! Oh my god. Can I die now? I think I can die now. Did that light up? What happened to it lighting up? I thought it was lighting up. Oh no, we got a null texture. Wait, why? Wire direction was west-east. It should never be west-east. That's why. Direction west and east. Didn't we replace west east? No, we didn't. We did west north. Yeah, west south. That's not. Wait, west east. Oh, probably because we went backwards. We went. Yeah, because east west. Yeah, because they're the opposite of each other. Like that can't occur at all. But I guess we just realized that by going backwards, that actually can occur. If we go backwards, I guess we would just... What would we do in that situation? If we get a west east, it doesn't really matter because we're only laying a horizontal or a vertical wire anywhere. So we can just convert west east into either. It doesn't matter. East. And north south into north. Okay, we'll add that discrepancy. Yeah, so even though they sound like invalid directions, it's because you can go backwards. So west-east doesn't make logical sense, and neither does north-south, but considering you can go backwards, then I guess our puzzle kind of is going to come across it from time to time. Right, so if y direction is west-east, or y direction is east-west, then y direction equals east. It doesn't matter because either way we want to lay a horizontal wire, so it doesn't make any difference whether we set it to east or west. And the same goes for the north-south, so now our version of that. If it ends up being north-south or south-north, just set it to north. Because all we're trying to figure out is whether we want a horizontal or a vertical arrow at that point, and we'll get what we need, so it's fine. Okay, so we should have just fixed that bug. But yeah, are the nodes lighting up? I don't understand. Let's go from the red. Oh yeah! Oh, it's so cool! Well, I'm not sure why that changed when I... Yeah, well, we haven't been able to complete a circuit yet, that's why. So, like, we were still... Our previous thing was still there, so it thinks we need a corner. Because it's combining the directions, yeah. So, basically, we're not able to complete a circuit yet. But like, look at it, man. It's working. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so I think north and south are inverted. Or maybe it depends what... Does it depend what direction I go in? No, they're still inverted. Wait, I'm so confused. I don't know. I'm so confused. I don't think we've completely fixed it. Okay, just chill out. You laid a southwest wire, even though clearly that's southeast. Southwest is wrong as well. We actually want a southeast wire. But do we always want a southeast wire when we lay a southwest wire? Right, so we came through southwest. No, we don't want a southwest. We need a northeast. We came through southwest. And what we actually want is a northeast. So I'm guessing southwest and northeast need swapping then. Oh my god. Southeast and northwest. How though? Isn't that just going to break some of the other? I don't understand. What is happening? Southwest and northeast are 6 and 8. So 8 should be 6. And 6 should be 8. Why have I got a bad feeling about this? I got a bad feeling about this. Help! Help me! Help! Because look at what's happening, right? This is so worrying. Also, we got a south somehow. Later wire south, direction south. Just mute that a second. I've got such a fucking headache. Right, this really concerns me, right? Because the way I drew my wire, right, I went right here and then down here. So I should have got a northeast followed by a southwest. I should have got a northeast and a southwest, but for some weird ass fucking reason, I got 2 southeasts. So that worries me a lot because it laid the same corner on both of them, even though they were 2 different directions. They should have been 2 different corners. So why did it load the same corner for both? Oh my god, my head is hurting so much. I might need to take a break in a sec. It wants to work. until it doesn't. So that time I got a northwest when I should have got a northeast. But I feel like every time I feel like there's something else is happening here, right? A fucking random monkey with random typewriters could have randomly picked the right order of these by now, if one existed. Because I swear to God, I feel like I've just swapped these around, like, to no end. And I feel like I could probably keep swapping these all night long. And there's always going to be situations where it's not doing the right one. Which makes me think it's not, like, it's not a matter of just... This isn't a matter of just getting... See, because the weird thing is there, right? This one came from northeast. And northeast is actually right. That's the first time I've ever seen it. Describe the direction correctly with what it was that we actually wanted. So it feels like maybe it's like it depends what direction you're moving in. Because maybe like it feels like sometimes it's correct and then sometimes it's inverted. Yeah, that shouldn't have been a valid node either. I'm getting weird. Okay, that's a different bug I need to address. It's like it's trying to set a valid node on a non-node tile, which it also shouldn't be doing. Okay, I think I need a break. My head's killing me. Yeah, I just need a break. I just can't. I can't right now. It's like I am getting there. Clearly, it's starting to kind of work, but like, I think I need to take like an hour or two off it and then come back to it or something. But this is confusing the hell out of me. Because like it feels like there's some weird inconsistency, and maybe there's logical reason why. Like is there even such a thing as like when I say direction, because like direction has two meanings, right? You've got direction like northeast, southwest, and then direction as in like are you going forwards or backwards? When I feel like the forwards backwards direction, I mean, that's like, does that even exist? Do you know what I mean? Like forward, it's like relative, isn't it? So like forwards and backwards doesn't really mean anything. Like, but there is still like a direction in terms of like which way you're going. And I don't know if that somehow is affecting the calculation of directions, but like the way we calculate it, is the way I calculate it is I marked all of these nodes. So unless there's something wrong with some of these node indices, Because I did fill out, that's the other thing as well, to be honest. I did fill some of these out manually. I should clear these. So some of these could be wrong, but then we wrote code where they like filled themselves out, right? Shit, did I remove that though? I gotta be careful here. I might have removed that. But yeah, these direction things are now done dynamically, but because I started doing them manually, it is possible. Can I just wipe them all out? No, I did leave some of them blank. Yeah, that's as far as I must have got. Right, that's good news. So that means my code is still there to calculate them. So okay, that's, to be fair, that was worth doing, because at least now, if I made a human error on some of those earlier tiles, I don't think I did, but if I did, then now they should all be dynamically calculated correctly, because values that are in the inspector will override values. No, actually, I don't think they will. They would have overridden them when they were if they were declared at the top of the script. They would have overwritten them, but I don't think they would have overwritten the values the way that I set them up. Anyway, they've all got values now, so they should all be reliable and correct. Yeah, it's still fucked. Right, so the first error is southwest. It laid a southwest. It laid a south. I'm gonna stop talking. Let me just do it. But it's inverted, so it's not. Yeah, it actually wants to be a southeast anyway. So when coming through southwest, we want to set that to southeast. Jesus Christ. So when coming through southwest, we want to set it to position 7. Southwest is position 7. Wait, what? That's even weirder. What? Southwest is position 7. We came through southwest. We got a northeast. We want a southeast. So if we want a southeast, yeah, then we want position 7. But it is position 7. Wait, let me make sure everything's set correctly in the inspector. northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. Northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. I'm so confused. How can that be? A southeast looks like that, which is what we wanted, but it isn't what we got. What? Now I'm really confused. Unless it's laying multiple... Unless it's laying like multiple wires per move, like more than it should be, or something. I don't understand. That is how this is breaking my brain now. We only get one debug per wire. It went wrong when it went through southwest, and the corner it laid was northeast. Wait, am I thinking about this right? Northeast. Yeah, because it's pointing north and it's pointing east. We should have got a southeast. But the weird thing about that is, unless something else... Well, no, southwest. So it should have come through southwest because the Y direction in the debug log is southwest. So it would have come through here. And it would have picked texture wires at position 7. But the weirdest thing about that is, texture wires... I need to restart Unity. Things are not making sense. Position 7 is southeast. That is not what it laid. Position 7 is southeast. If it would have laid what I told it to lay, that would be correct. But it didn't lay that. It laid northeast. What is happening? I tell it to lay southeast. I can see it in the inspector. It's southeast. It's element 7. But it laid element 6. What the fuck is happening? I hate it when things don't make sense like this. Wire texture equals texture wires at position 7. This isn't making any sense. Image wire tiles at previous node entered position dot texture is wire texture. Wait, hang on. Wait, 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 wait. Why are we referring to this twice? We do it again here? Yeah, we override it with 6. What the hell? Where did that even come from? Okay, no, that's why it's not working. We overwrite it with position 6 there and there. This was when I was pasting. Yeah, and there. Yeah, when I copied and pasted it, it's completely fucked it up. Okay. I can now see where that was coming from. It was actually overwriting it directly after putting the right one in. No wonder it wasn't fucking working. That was from when I was copying and pasting it from the line above, and it was making an absolute fucking pig's ear of my script. Like, I don't know, it's just pasting like weird formatting and stuff, and it was really fucking me up. I don't know why the fuck it was doing that. So is it fixed now? No wonder it wasn't working. Do we have every corner here now? We've got a northwest, we've got a northeast, we've got a northeast. Wait, northeast. That's a different corner. Southeast. Yeah, that's southeast. And then a southwest. I think that's all of them, right? It's got to be 4 corners. Oh, thank God. Oh my God, thank God. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Yeah, because that really broke my brain for a while. I was like, what the hell is going on? Okay, it makes sense again now. Things are making sense. Oh, no! Yeah, see what I mean? This is so weird. So you come at it from a different direction and it's all like, what is happening? I can't. How the fuck? How does this work? How does this work? Oh my God, I swear to God. Whoever made that Wuthering Waves puzzle, they should get a fucking Nobel Prize. I swear to God. They should get a fucking Nobel Prize. I don't think fucking Einstein could have done this. So when I go this way with the green, it works perfectly, and like I feel like celebrating. I feel like the smartest man alive. Well, I don't know about that, but you know, I feel better than I feel when I do this. So what the fuck is going on there? I don't understand. So it's like, okay, we're going counterclockwise. Why would that matter though? Here we were going clockwise, right? Here we're going counterclockwise. I'm going to ask Jibbity if it can shed any light. I know this is a mistake. But I don't know. Maybe it can tell me why it's happening. I am so confused. I don't understand this at all. The issue arises because your code logic for determining the wire texture, wire direction, and assigning the corresponding corner texture is not considering the directionality of counterclockwise wire drawing correctly. Let me explain why. Oh, please do. Because you're so good at explaining how these things work, right? And belittling me and condescending me and trying to sound like the world's smartest gyppity that ever lived. Then you'll give me some bullshit code that fucking blue screens my computer, rapes my neighbor's fucking wife, kills its dog, fucking calls Elon Musk the N-word. And you see what I mean? It's like, it's just like, you're just full of shit. The corner logic in the place wire function evaluates the combination of previous direction and direction. However, the order in which previous direction and direction are concatenated assumes a clockwise drawing sequence. For counterclockwise paths, the resulting wire direction might mismatch the intended corner orientation. What are you on about? Northeast is northeast no matter which way you get to it. Like, a fucking corner that points up and right is still a corner that points up and right. Why should it matter whether you come to it from above or below? I don't know. I don't really get it. You need to refine the place wire function to problem. Let's just see if it's look. Let's just see if this fixes it. Place wire. Okay, it's giving me a new place wire function. I'll try it. It's using these case things again. Another reason why I don't think it'll work is because like none of the directions that are labeled in the code are actually the directions that they're labeled as, because everything's always been inverted. And as I've changed things around, like it doesn't know that northeast is actually southwest and, you know, weird shit like that, right? So there's no way there's no way it can get this right. I don't think. All right, let's try it. Fuck you. Yeah, the corner is not being drawn at the previous node. Please pay close attention to my code. The corner must be generated at the previous node since the node entered and its change of direction needs to cause the previous node's wire to bend. Ah, you're right. To properly handle the corners at the previous node while continuing to draw the new wire in the current direction at the entered node, we need to adjust the place wire function. Here's a more refined version of the logic that ensures corners are applied at the previous node entered. New wires are drawn at the node entered in the direction. You're not going to fucking fix this. I don't believe in a million years that you're going to fix this. Why am I still going? I said I needed a break. I'm still going. What's wrong with me? It's because I'd like to take a break on a high note. I like to take a break knowing that it works. So I'm never going to break then. I'm never going to get a break. You stay there. You stay at your workstation, Tom, until it's working. But sir, wrong, Jibbity, wrong. Oh, you know, it actually makes me feel glad when it gets it wrong though, because like, it's kind of soul destroying when if Jibbity, it will get there one day though. I think it'll get there one day where you're just like, oh my god. Caveman Copium's like hammering away at the script for like 6 months. I haven't shaved, I haven't showered. I'm like at death's door. And I finally get this little puzzle working. And then some like 10-year-old goes up to Jibbity and is like, make this for me now. And it's just like, there you go. And they're like, mine's better than yours. And I'm like, just a broken man. Can't wait. It's gonna be great. Alright. I don't know why I just try going a different way. Did he get anything right? Did he get anything right? It's worse than mine, Jibbity! None of these are right! But again, it's because my direction... Well, my directions are labelled correctly. Well, no, they're kind of not now. Because I had to swap the fucking indices around. But it can see what the indices are if it just looks at my code. But it didn't even look at my code enough to know that we were drawing corners at the previously entered node. So no, Jibbity, that is worse than mine. I'm actually kind of pleased to say, in a weird kind of way. I'm not, because I've still got to solve the fucking problem. And I don't really understand what it means by, oh, well, your corner calculations assume a clockwise rotation. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that doesn't really exist though, does it? Because, like, no matter how you look at it, right, a fucking right corner that goes up, right, it either goes like up right, up left, or down right. It's as simple as that. There's only 4 possible fucking corners. And so, to me, it shouldn't matter whether you come from the left side of that corner or the top side of that corner. It's still going to require the same corner. So, I don't really know what it's getting at. I'll leave it there. I kind of wish I hadn't started this. I feel sick. I'll get there eventually, but this... I thought I had it. I thought I had it. I really did. And I don't even fully understand the problem. I don't understand how it would... Like, if you take the previous direction... The player moves down. The player was moving down, so you know you had a straight up arrow. And then the player moves left, then you know you need a wire that goes down and left. Like, how does that not make sense? You combine directions to know what corner you need. I don't know, it seems to make sense to me. I don't really know what the fuck it's getting at. So then if you go left again and then you go up, then you know you need an arrow that goes up and to the right because you came from the left. That is weird though, isn't it? Because you came from the left, which is why, I guess that makes sense why the left and right were always inverted. But I don't know, I need a break. Right, I'll leave it there. Bye.